Hello and welcome to our talk. My name is Weizhou.
And I'm Anke Lehmann.
We present our ongoing work on investigating document layout and placement strategies in augmented reality for collaborative sensemaking. This is joint work with Yushan and Raimund Dachselt, and all of us are from the Interactive Media Lab Dresden. Sensemaking and brainstorming are essential activities in many domains. Currently, people rely on paper such as sticky notes for brainstorming, or traditional 2D interface to organize images into folders for sensemaking. We envision that AR can upgrade such a workflow by largely extending the display area while keeping user aware of the collaborators and surroundings. However, it is not clear how the physical surroundings might affect virtual content placement for collaborative sensemaking. For this purpose, we designed a user study with 8 participants as 4 teams. We compare 2 different room settings, a fully furnished room versus a less furnished room, for a collaborative image categorization task. Moreover, we are interested in the content placement, spatiality, and layout. In the training session, participants got familiar with the 2 interaction techniques for the study. By using recasting, participants can move, rotate, or resize objects which are out of reach. In contrast, participants can directly manipulate by hand when objects are near them. In the former study, teams were asked to perform a card sorting task on 50 images of cars or fruits within 20 minutes in an AR room. Teams were asked to freely group and cluster those images, and they should come up with as many categories as possible. On the upper row, you see teams were grouping images in the fully furnished condition. On the bottom row, we demonstrate 2 teams were working in the less furnished condition. Both rooms' conditions and datasets were content balanced, and each team finished both sessions.
Based on our analysis, we identify 3 different spatial layout patterns. In the panoramic stripe pattern, the image is mainly placed horizontally as a semicircle. The distribution of clusters is partly far apart, as large gaps between individual clusters can be found. In the semi-cylindrical pattern, the images are mainly arranged by using both horizontally and vertically axes. For instance, Team 2 used the space from the floor to the top to form a semi-cylindrical structure without considering the space of the side table and the orange wall. In the furniture-based distribution pattern, the images are mostly arranged in several separated clusters and subclusters based on the real-world furniture. For instance, above or below the tables, or using the whiteboard or the cabinet. In addition to the spatial layout, we also observed spatial placement patterns, where teams use the physical environment for placing their content. For example, teams tend to use vertical planes. As you can see in these short examples, they use the door area as a defining space to form a cluster, as well as the orange wall. A few teams also use the whiteboard, but the physical space here is smaller. This was used less frequently and mainly for small clusters. Participants also use the furniture for their placement, mainly the 2 side tables in the room, as you can see in examples in the upper row. Likewise, the cabinet was used to place a cluster above it, as seen in the bottom row. One team also used the geometry of the cabinet for their subclusters, such as sport cars above the cabinet, normal cars on top of the cabinet, and vents on the cabinet door. To our surprise, some teams used unexpected places, such as the stone column as a natural cluster separator, what can be seen in the example of the food dataset. Or they used the free gaps between the 2 tables as an imaginary container to place a cluster. We also observed the usage of a temporary storage space, like the whiteboard area or the room center during the task. The example on the left shows how Team 1 temporarily placed some cars on the whiteboard, which is highlighted here. One by one, 2 users then took images from the whiteboard and assigned them to other clusters in the AR room. On the right side, you can see Team 2, which uses the center of the room to share pictures with each other. In summary, our takeaway points are that participants tend to use the room's vertical surface and the room's furniture. In addition, we observed 3 different spatial layout patterns and temporary storage spaces for collaboration. Thank you for your attention. For more detail, please refer to our paper and our project website.